Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt Crew podcast. It's Tuesday, 1 p.m. Pacific time. Appreciate you joining us in the middle of the day. Again, the schedule goes like this: Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 o'clock Pacific time, and then Sunday, right after the game, no matter when the game starts, we will be going right after the game, doing post-game. Appreciate all the comments that everyone's involved in. Again, we want you to subscribe to the show, like the show. It goes a long way for us, helps out a lot. And then, of course, it's the three of us as normal. Dave Pele, Josh Pele, Mario Heron, talking Charger football. It's a lot of fun right now, guys, talking Charger football, right? We've waited a few years for this. It's not over. The road sometimes, as they say, is the most fun part, especially when it's a championship season, right? There are times where teams will sneak in and go, man, I did not see that team getting hot in the playoffs. You don't see it in the NFL. Usually you are what you are during the regular season, and then come playoff time, you just continue doing what you've been doing. You'll see it in other sports where a team can sneak in, but the NFL is one of those. You are what you are. And the fact that this team right now is 2-0 is impressive. And look, guys, people can make jokes all they want. Say, well, look, who do they face? Hey, that Raider team just beat the Ravens on the road. Okay, that Panthers team, you could say whatever you want. They're on the schedule. The Raiders will face them this week. Well, now we get a chance to take on the Chiefs. All right, excuse me, the Steelers, and then the Chiefs at home. And so you go, this team right now, looking at the schedule doesn't even, the tough parts don't seem so tough. And I'm not saying you overlook the Steelers to get to the Chiefs, because I don't think that's what this Charger team will do. But how can you not look at what's going on inside your division first when we said, hey, you know, we just want to get into the postseason? Because the Chiefs don't look like the same Chiefs. And what I mean by that is Kelsey all of a sudden looks a little old. Like, it looks like he's not the option, right? I mean, for a guy who has him on his fantasy football team, as a guy who says all the time on the show, I want to see this guy retire, to see the Chiefs dynasty, you know, basically buckle. Travis Kelsey doesn't look like the same guy, and it doesn't look like the Chiefs are depending on him. It's kind of a team right now that seems a little bit lost, Josh, especially with Isaiah Pacheco, who broke his leg.
I think you can make an argument that Isaiah Pacheco is the biggest threat on that offense, other than Patrick Mahomes, of course. Travis Kelsey looks old. He doesn't look like he's being targeted nearly as much as he usually is. Rashee Rice should be in prison, probably, but for some reason, the NFL looks past his troubles and allows him to play all 17 games. He's definitely their number one receiver. Marquise Brown's on the IR. That team has a ton of holes. And I'm not just saying that because I hate the Chiefs with all my body, but the Chiefs do look like a team that is not dominant. This is the most parity I've seen throughout the first 2 weeks. I know it's ridiculous. First 2 weeks of an NFL season that I can remember. Usually you have like 6 teams that are 2-0 and they're just kicking the crap out of everyone. You can make an argument that the best looking team in the NFL is definitely the New Orleans Saints. Nobody would have said that going into the year. The Chiefs are still 2-0, even though they haven't looked great in either one of their games. But I think the Chargers are right on their heels, Mario.
I would agree. I was actually talking about this with Ryan Horvath last night. He looked at me and goes, I think the Chargers are very live to win the division. And it was because of 2 factors. Of one, how the Chargers have looked this early on in the season. And, you know, you mentioned like the teams we played. It's not like we beat the Panthers. We demolished the Panthers. There's a difference between the two. Staley would have beaten them. Harbaugh demolishes them. It's a sign of a real team and a fake team. And we have a real team this year. And the other thing we were talking about too is, and I know I've mentioned this ad nauseum, the schedule we have going forward versus the Chiefs is just 2 different things, right? Like the Chiefs' next 4 games is incredibly challenging. Okay, you have at Falcons, that's going to be a hard game. You have us, that's a hard game. Saints are suddenly an insane football team. That offense is, you know, right now the best in the league. And then you have the Niners in San Francisco. Like those are 4 really tough games coming up. And that could be easily 2 out of the 4 you lose. If they win 3 out of the 4, that's incredible. But it's losses are coming. And like you said, this Chiefs team is looking a little different. Kelsey's obviously not getting touches he usually gets, but he does get that penalty when he needs it. And, you know, we've done this song and dance before where last year we were like, maybe Kelsey's losing it. Then playoff comes around and he's playoff Kelsey and he's incredible. I'm not going to overlook them yet or say that, you know, we have the division in lock or like this team's vulnerable, because I was saying that all last year. And I was just absolutely burnt to a freaking crisp, like my Aunt Lauren making lasagna. Just burnt the crap out of it.
Damn it, Lauren. Damn it.
Yeah. Bad cook.
All the work.
Nice aunt.
Come on. All you got to do is finish it up. Just pay attention to the clock. Ask Alexa. Set timer. Yeah, that's sad. All right. So, you know, here's the deal. We're a couple weeks in, and there are some surprises, right? Mara, you mentioned the Saints. And the Saints are one of those teams where last year, man, I said, man, look at the Saints schedule. Could the Saints just run through the entire NFL and go 17-0? Well, Derek Carr, who we ripped the hell out of, we ripped the hell out of Dennis Allen nonstop, since the offseason, saying he's the first coach going to be fired. Look, their point differential right now, meaning the Saints, is plus 62 through 2 games. It's plus 62. When a league is basically set up to where teams win or lose by no more than 3 points, to have a plus 62 in 2 games is pretty impressive. But at the same time, on the other side, do you know which team has the number 1 point differential in the NFL?
Saints.
No, the Saints are 1. Which team's number 2?
Just said who has number 1.
Yeah,
so number
you just
2
said number
would be
1.
Okay,
Yeah.
number 2 is who?
I caught that too, Josh. I got confused.
Nobody likes a
I was like,
smart ass.
what?
Just answer the question.
We're number 2. We're number 2.
We're number 2, and it never felt so good to say we're number 2, right? It's always a joke. We're number 2. Look, the Chargers are a 35-point differential. Pretty solid. So here's the deal. You're going to go into Pittsburgh this weekend. Again, as we talked about, 10 a.m. start in case afraid you're going to miss it. Pacific time. Quarterback looks like it's going to be Justin Fields, right? If you're the Steelers, do you take a chance? Do you mess things up even if Russell Wilson is healthy? Justin Fields, to me, hasn't looked that impressive. Like when I look at the Steelers, I go, this is a beatable team. Now, when we went through the schedule right before the season started, we went through it a second time. Went through it one time when the schedule came out and went through it again after preseason. We made our picks on said who was going to win as far as Charger games. And Josh and I had the Steelers winning this game when we made our picks. Mario was the only one that said Chargers start the season 3-0. Josh, do you want to change your prediction? Here we are on a Tuesday before that Sunday game. Do you think the Chargers win this game?
I do think the Chargers win this game. If Justin Fields wasn't 2-0, people would be calling for his job because he has not played well. That Steelers offense is anemic. I mean, people want to call for Najee Harris's head. They want Jalen Warren to be the running back. Cordell Patterson's like 50 years old. He gets touches over there. That offense is no good. The issue is their defense. That's going to be the big problem for the Chargers against the Steelers this weekend. Can Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater withstand TJ Watt, who I think is the best defensive player in the league, Mika Fitzpatrick, one of the best safeties in the league? The defense is what scares me for the Steelers, Mario. It's not their offense.
I'm with you. It's the defense. It's TJ Watt. It's the guy that can single-handedly win them games and has done it for the past 2-3 seasons. That's what worries me about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the other thing that worries me too is this is Harbaugh's first coaching challenge. Okay, first game, he hits Antonio Pierce, who, if we're being honest, is still a rookie head coach. Gets Dave Canales, who skyrocketed through the rankings, rookie head coach. Takes them both out, able to out-scheme them, gets a dub. Now he has Mike Tomlin, one of the best coaches we've seen in the past decade, a Super Bowl winning coach, been to multiple different Super Bowls, has carried the Steelers through multiple different decades or windows of opportunity. It's going to be a tough challenge for Harbaugh. I'm excited to see how they match up against each other. It's going to be a great battle between the two because it's both having, similar game plans and similar styles of football currently. But at the same time, Dave, Steelers haven't faced a quarterback yet like Justin Herbert this year. You had Bo Nix and Kirk Cousins. Nice.
Well, ask the Eagles about Kirk Cousins because all of a sudden he looked ridiculous on that last drive. At the same time, I will say the Steelers' strength is their defense. Like we said, we all three of us agree on that. Look, this is where I will take back. I mean, this feels like the show that I'm taking back everything that I said that I was upset about. When I said I ripped the hell out of the Saints the entire offseason, and I just told you, man, the Saints are playing great right now. Through 2 games, Carr's playing great. Allen, as a head coach, isn't going anywhere, doing fine. I wanted Brock Bowers, and I still am a Brock Bowers fan. I'm going to be interested in watching his career all the way through. But what Joe Alt did to Max Crosby in game 1 in the second half, where it was like, all right, I went to school, I got my master's degree, and here I am going to come out in the second half. I'm going to have my doctorate. I'm going to own this guy. Completely shut him down. Look what Max Crosby was able to do just a week later. Max Crosby is one of the best in the NFL. Joe Alt, if he's able to go through and basically shut down TJ Watt the way he did to Max Crosby, you can right now start talking about Joe Alt saying, dude, this guy's going to be all pro this year, and he's on his way to a Hall of Fame career. If you can sit there in your first 3 games and take on 2 of the best in the NFL to do it, incredible. And to everything we said about being so concerned about switching from the left side to the right side, you can't tell. Right now, you can't tell. The Chargers' tackles have been outstanding. The offensive line, yeah, there are some holes, but the Chargers' offensive line compared to other supposedly really good teams in the NFL, like the Ravens, who the offensive line is killing that team, this Charger offensive line of building this organization and Harbaugh's first year from the inside out seems like it was definitely the right plan all along. You got to tip your hat to Harbaugh and Ortiz. They have made the right move on this.
100%. People are talking about, do you still want Bowers? How do you feel about Alt? I think it's a situation where both teams won the draft. The Raiders got a big-time tight end in Brock Bowers, and we have one of the best right tackles already in the NFL in Joe Alt. The stats that have come out on Joe Alt's performances in that first 2 weeks are unheard of. You don't see a guy put up those kind of numbers against guys like Max Crosby and Jadeveon Clowney. I know Jadeveon Clowney has been a disappointment for what he's supposed to be, but he's still a very good football player. He actually put up his worst game in his entire 11-year career this past Sunday against Joe Alt. Incredibly impressive. I love Joe Alt. I love what he brings to the team. I love that we finally have two tackles that can keep Justin Herbert on his feet. Don't blame Joe Alt for Justin Herbert getting hit the other day. That's just a football play. Those things happen. You cannot blame Joe Alt for things like that. I do want more out of the tight end. That's going to be my big question mark going forward. I think the run blocking by the tight ends has been phenomenal. J.K. Dobbins has been great, but you need to have a pass catching threat. I think the way the Steelers are going to prepare for the Chargers and every other team going forward is make the tight ends make plays. I think Ladd McConkey has proven he can make plays. Quentin Johnston has been the best receiver so far. Can any tight ends on this roster make a play, Mario? Can we rely on anybody on that tight end room to make a play? We have four of them. Are any of them going to make a catch?
I mean, I barely trust them to, not get a penalty, not freaking jump off sides, or get a holding call. Like, that's why I fear, in the Raiders game, that was a problem. And then, Panthers game, that catch and fumble, that goes the other way. The refs kind of changed that call, and we're in a tough spot, and Panthers get a little bit of momentum. You did that against the Steelers, that could be ball game, right? Like, you drive on the Steelers, and you give up the ball, Mike Tomlin's going to drain the hell of that clock and make sure that Herbert's not going to see the field for the rest of the quarter. He's going to do everything he can to make sure that clock keeps ticking and that Justin Herbert does not get a chance to win this game at all. That's going to be their game plan. And if I'm the Steelers, I'm telling my team, we're going to make the tight ends beat us in any way we can. We're going to make that group beat us. We're going to take away the run game. We're going to put pressure on Herbert. We're going to make those tight ends got to be something. They got to look like Gronkowski for them to win. Like, that would be my game plan, Dave. Like, that's what I would do. And honestly, vice versa. The other way around, like, I would do the same thing. I would get Fields. The best thing you can do is make Fields pass the damn football in the pocket. I mean, that guy tweaks his you-know-what off as soon as he has to sit in that pocket and make a read.
Couldn't agree with you more. I think I've been on you about Fields for a number of years when he was wearing a different uniform.
We don't have to do that. Don't have to do that. Do not have to do that.
Hey, today's the day. You come forward and you say, look, you know what? I stepped in it. Didn't know what I was talking about.
Hands up.
We've had the biggest fights on this show about Fields, but now that you see the light, this is what I'm talking about. This is one of those games, guys. It's going to be low scoring, right? Do all three of us agree this is going to be a low scoring game? Like, it feels weird to say, watching the Chargers a year ago, to think that we're talking about a defensive battle. Like, we're looking at a defensive battle with the least amount of mistakes. Honestly believe this Charger team has the least amount of turnovers. That's going to be the difference in the Chargers winning this game. It's going to come down to defense, turnovers, and I hate to say it, it's going to come down to our field goal kickers. We have a really good one, but I do not expect a high-scoring game. Going to Pittsburgh is never easy. At the same time, playing the Steelers anywhere. Like, if this was a home game for the Chargers, it would feel like a Steelers home game. I mean, they're just Steeler fans that travel, and it is what it is. This is one of those games I'm like, if we're going to give up a game that we have to play on the road, fine, let's go ahead and go to Pittsburgh, because every time you face the Steelers, it feels the same no matter what. Take the crowd out of the game. The crowd's going to be bored. They're going to try, and they're going to play Renegade at the beginning of the third quarter, or beginning of the fourth quarter, I should say, and then they're going to do all their stuff that you think, terrible towel stuff. I don't think it works. Not with Justin Fields and not with Russell Wilson and not with anyone else they have on that team. I do not look at this team as a threat right now as far as someone can light up your scoreboard. At the same time, when I'm looking at the Chargers, as people are saying on the side, do you see them possibly trading for a tight end? I'm curious to know what the Chargers do at the trade deadline, because I think you're going to see enough heading into the trade deadline, Josh, that all of a sudden they're going to go, you know what, we might be ahead of schedule. And we might be ahead of schedule of saying, we can make a run this year. Even though Jim has a 5-year contract and most people are saying year 3 or 4, that's when he's going to make that serious run for a Super Bowl. When you're sitting there and you're running your schedule, you sit there and go, you know what, maybe this year. Why waste a year? Why waste a year of Justin Herbert? Why waste a year of this offensive line? Let's go out and get somebody. So I'm going to throw a tight end at you. I'm going to throw a first trade at you possible.
Okay.
I know what you're going to say.
Get me
You don't know what
excited.
I'm gonna. Go ahead and guess which tight end I'm gonna get. I'm gonna throw out there.
Hunter Henry.
Holy cow, man! I would have lost $100 right there. I would have said,
Like
"There's no way."
related. Yeah.
Hunter Henry is exactly. Were you gonna say Mario Hunter Henry too?
No, I was just making a joke. I was like, oh, it's like you're related.
Okay, Hunter Henry is a guy that right now he could be the Patriots' #1 target. I know the Patriots are 101. The Patriots aren't going anywhere. But can you imagine if they at least brought Hunter Henry back, who I used to goof on all the time because it looked like he should have retired a couple years ago because of his health. I think if you haven't caught the show from the very beginning, I always tell this story that being in the Charger locker room, Hunter Henry's sitting on a stool and he looks up at me, goes, "How's this look?" And he takes his knee and he turns it almost full 360 around right in front of me. It looked like something
Mr.
out
Deeds?
of Mr. Deeds. And I was like, that's not good. As I was dizzy, trying to get my balance, something to hold on to. And he's like, yeah, you think? And I'm like, this guy's still playing. Years later, this guy's still playing, but he can catch the damn ball. Could you see the Chargers going and getting a pass catch and tight end to help this team? Because the Steelers are going to force the Chargers to throw the ball on Sunday for sure.
I think these next 2 weeks are going to be imperative to whether the Chargers pick up a tight end or they do something different with the tight end room. You're going to be playing the Steelers and the Chiefs, two teams that are going to expose your offense for whatever you don't do well. The Panthers are an outlier. When I saw that Jordan Matthews, by the way, was their tight end, the guy that used to play receiver for Vanderbilt was now their tight end, I was like, holy hell, we're going to beat the crap out of these guys. But the Steelers and Chiefs are going to expose you. They do a great job at making the playmakers on your team make plays that usually don't make plays, right? The playmakers on the tight end room, we don't have any. So they're going to see whether any of those guys can do anything. If they don't do anything 4 games in, so these next 2 games, you have to make a move at tight end. You have to pick up somebody. I'm picking up the phone. I'm calling Darren Waller. What's up, buddy? How's the divorce? You good? You ready to play some football?
So crazy.
I would make sure we get somebody, dude. Anybody, because you need to have a tight end threat. If the Chargers beat the Steelers or beat the Chiefs, let's say they go 1-1, right? These next 2 games, you're 3-1. How do you not make a move for a tight end when you have a playoff team that could contend? You have to have a tight end threat. You have to have it.
It's not going to cost you a ton. I see people on the side go, I would wait till next year. I'm tired of waiting till next year. We wait till next year all the time. Between now and next year, I might get hit by a goddamn bus. I don't have time to wait till next year. I'm getting old. Damn.
Bus is all around you. You have no idea when it's coming.
All the time. I'm looking at my phone all the time. Trolley, bus. There's a good chance.
Actually, you almost got hit by a bus late today. I'll drive it. Did see him. He's picking a song. A lot of good Gunna songs. What can I say? All right. No, I think you have a good point there, Josh. It's these next 2 weeks are 2 teams that they find your weakness and they exploit it. And we're going to find out what it is, right? And I think it is our tight end group. I think they're going to do their best to make sure that's front and center for everyone else to see in the world. I'm fine with Hunter Henry. I'm fine with honestly anything. I can't help think, I was thinking this actually late Sunday night, guys. If they kept him, Gerald Everett would have been such a perfect player for this team. Such a perfect player for this team.
Perfect.
And honestly, perfect player for the team. And I honestly, it's funny too that he's like getting more attention in Chicago than Cole Kmet does right now. But he would be beautiful right now for this year. Like gorgeous. Would have his best year.
I don't disagree. No, I don't know. I'm bummed out by it. Like I didn't understand. Like he didn't do anything to not be here. You know what I'm saying? The worst thing Gerald Everett did was playing against Casey and get winded. Remember? And he just had nothing left in the tank for that one play we really needed him. But that was about it. I mean, that was about it. Otherwise, what do you expect from him? Yeah, he's not the best blocking tight end. Who gives a rat's ass? We need guys that can catch the ball that are threats. He can catch the ball.
Okay, I got a question. So Gerald Everett, I agree, Mario, 100%. He was that old school mentality type of guy that the Chargers are now. He would have fit perfectly in with this Chargers team. Here's my question. Let's say the Browns S the bet, right? And David Njoku and Amari Cooper are on the table. Which one would you want?
David Njoku.
You need that tight end?
Yeah, I want the tight end. I want the tight end that burnt his face and patted up the freaking same week. Give me that guy.
And went off.
Yeah, I want that. Amari Cooper is a great player, but we're developing receivers right now. I'd rather just stick with the development and let the guys go. I mean, Ladd and QJ, like, they're already showing this much improvement already this year. Like, who's to say they don't take a bigger jump next year? Jameson Williams have a jump, Dave? Maybe.
All right. Speaking of that, we talk about Quentin Johnson all the time. Are they using Lad McConkey enough?
No, they're not. But here's why. I actually have a reason why I don't think they're using Lad enough. They're not showing anything yet. Like I think it's very impressive how the Chargers have shown like nothing in 2 weeks. Have anybody noticed that the Chargers haven't done any exotic plays in the first 2 weeks? Everything has been basic, and they've still won both games by more than 10 points. Like, that's impressive. So much credit goes to Jesse Minter. I mean, the defense has been phenomenal, and the Chargers offense hasn't shown anything.
There's a YouTube comment. I think it was by Age. I'm trying to find it now. Sorry, Age, but something similar to that end is like I feel like the offense hasn't even scratched the surface. And I completely agree with that, Josh. Like it's what they're gonna be later on is not even close to what they are right now. And honestly, I'm kind of fine with slowly getting Lad more involved. Like Dave, we saw how big it was with Jahmyr Gibbs last year at the Lions. Like I know I was pissing and moaning about it of how they didn't have him involved in like the offense at all early on in the season and then slowly brought him in. That back half of the season, I mean, he put it on the table and slapped every team around with it. You know what I mean? Like if we do that with Lad this year, I'm perfectly fine with that. Like that's going to lead to some W's.
No, so here we go. I want to see what Lad McConkey is because I think honestly he's going to be great. You're right. That's a good point. I don't think they've had to show, I guess, everything they have. I mean, it's funny. I was looking at the Eagles game last night. I'm thinking Kellen Moore. I'm like, damn, man. I mean, Eagles fans want to go after everybody that's basically associated with that loss, right? You want to go, why aren't you putting up points up? Why don't the Eagles look any good? I mean, it would be tough to be working for the Philadelphia Eagles right now. The fans have just about had it with the opponent. I look at former Chargers, and I'm like, who do we miss? We don't miss Kellen Moore, right? We thought Kellen Moore was going to be great when he got here, and he ended up being a big disappointment. So looking at where the Chargers would be right now if the playoffs started today, they have the number one seed. Number one seed in the AFC. Of course, if the playoffs started today, that season sucked. It was only 2 weeks long, but they would be the number one seed. The other teams in the playoffs would be KC, Pittsburgh, Patriots, Texans, Miami, Bills would all be in the playoffs. You're going to see obviously changes. Saints for the NFC side, they'd be 1. Bucks, 49ers, Lions, Eagles, Cowboys, Minnesota, they'd be there. So just want to ask you guys, looking at the teams that right now through 2 weeks in, who's the most surprising team? Or give me a couple, good and bad, most surprising teams to you.
Okay, the most surprising team has to be the New Orleans Saints. Like they're the best team in the NFL so far. I believe Derek Carr scored a touchdown on his first 15 drives of the season. A touchdown or field goal maybe, but he scored on the first 15 drives of the season. Unheard of. A team that's been disappointing. I feel like there's a lot of teams that have been disappointing. I would say the Cincinnati Bengals, but they suck every year to begin the season. Oh, also Minnesota Vikings have been very impressive. A team that kind of disappointing. You watch them, you're like, what the hell happened here? Detroit Lions. I was watching Jared Goff the other day thinking, is he done? Like the guy looked like he had no idea what he was doing. There's so many targets that he has on the Lions. They have 3 running backs, like 4 receivers, a great tight end, a great offensive line, and they can't move the ball. So the Lions have been disappointing.
That I mean, we talked about it, Josh, but like that pick over the middle is still
lost me my fantasy game. I had to call Jared after the game. What the hell, bud?
Yeah, I mean, we jumped them. Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? Yeah, I told you guys, I got connections in Detroit. Don't mess with me. All right, no, it's really worse. And piggybacking off that, the reason why like Bucks are like a big surprise to me at 2-0 is because all last week I kept hearing is Bucks lost a lot of guys in the line. They got some defensive guys hurt. You know, it could be a massacre over there. And then Baker Mayfield turned into college Baker and just played a hell of a game, put his team in the best places to succeed, put his body on a line to get into the end zone. They go 2-0. I think regression's going to come, Dave, because it's like, again, the injuries, like at some point that's going to come home and hurt you. But they have been a big shock to me at 2-0. Seahawks, I think, have benefited from schedule being 2-0. Steelers, that just seems like a Tomlin thing. And for the 0-2 teams, I think the Colts and the Titans are officially the really talented, hard-nosed bad teams. I think that's their category. Where, like, you're not going to blow them out. They're going to get you all the way to the end, and then they blow it. Like, I think that's what they're going to be this year. Is like they play every team hard, and then they just can't get over the hump, and they can't figure it out. And then AR does something stupid, and they end up blowing it pretty badly. So I think that's like the weird tier they're in.
It's a crazy division. I mean, basically
Crazy.
the Texans are 2-0. Everyone else is 0-2. I mean, the Titans basically saying should be Tennessee Titan football. We are our own worst enemy. I mean, it's insane the way they play. They should be 2-0. And yet that's not even supposed to be a good team, but they should be 2-0. Speaking of 2-0 teams, what has surprised me, the Buffalo Bills have surprised me. The Buffalo Bills look great against
Yes.
Miami. I think they created a blueprint on how to beat the Dolphins. But the Bills have been surprising without Diggs. And we talked about the way Josh Allen wants to prove he can do it without him. At the same time, when you look at the Chiefs kind of look old. They don't look the same. The Chiefs don't look the same. The Lions are a little bit disappointing. Minnesota, to me, is shocking how good they are. I heard a crazy stat the other day that the 49ers have not beat Minnesota in Minnesota since 1992. That's bizarre. And then things aren't getting better for the Niners as you hear Deebo Samuel's now out. You know, that the injuries are piling up for teams. The Rams are just ravaged by injuries. I mean, they're now as their third wide receivers now they're number one. You know, Cooper Kupp's gone, Nakua's gone, the left and right tackle are gone. I mean, it is a complete mess of what's going on with the people you share the stadium with. But you guys are kind of right on the Lions. The Lions were the team that everybody wanted to watch, and so many people said this is the year they finally go to the Super Bowl. I heard someone say about Jared Goff on the radio, hey, he's still young. When he figures it out in a few years, he's going to be really good. Jared Goff is a vet. I hate to tell you, he's almost been in the league 10 years. He's been around a long time. I think this is year 8 for him. Remember, Jared Goff and Dak Prescott came in at the same year. Nobody's sitting there saying Dak Prescott's still learning. Jared Goff has been around a long time and has played in a lot of big games and has seen it all by now. You are what you are. I'm sorry, in year 8. And so speaking of that, quarterbacks, Bryce Young, all right, his last game starting an NFL game might have been against the Chargers because the Panthers made a move. I always like this, by the way, when I like Bryce Young, so it kind of sad it's him. But I always like this when your team that you root for basically changes a guy's career or a franchise's career. Like you did that good of a job dominating that they just went enough's enough, right? We talk about it all the time, Josh and I. What's our favorite story, Josh?
Vontae Davis, Phillip Rivers.
Vontae Davis, Phillip Rivers. I've never seen a guy quit in the middle of a game at halftime. Phillip Rivers owned his ass against the Bills, and he said, I'm retiring. At half, just left. Not even like waited to the end to say, guys, this was my last game. He just literally, everyone's, basically getting ready for the second half. He's changing into street clothes and never came back. Phillip Rivers made a guy retire at halftime. He should go in the Hall of Fame just for that. But for the
Couldn't agree more.
The Panthers to trade everything they had to the Bears, and because they needed Bryce Young, and now Bryce Young's not the guy, man, that says a lot about the Chargers broke him. The Chargers broke the Panthers organization.
I think the Panthers organization was already broke before the Chargers. You mentioned at the beginning of the show which two teams are first and second in point differential. What do those two teams have in common? They both play the Carolina Panthers. I mean, the Carolina Panthers are the worst team in the NFL by a mile. I think there's a lot of surprising things about the beginning of the NFL season. The low-scoring games has been very surprising. Running backs have been getting hurt left and right. That happens a lot of the time, but the usage rate by some of these running backs is surprising. For example, Justice Hill for the Ravens has more carries, I believe, than Derrick Henry. Like, what the hell is going on in Baltimore? That team looks lost. I don't know, Mario. When I look at the rankings that people put out there, which really mean nothing, but you like to look at them because you're a Charger fan, people are really, really high on the Chargers. Like, people believe in this Chargers team. They mostly believe in Jim Harbaugh, which they should. When you hear stories about Jim Harbaugh playing, checkers or whatever with his team, he told everybody, bring the board games to Carolina. We're going to be playing board games and hanging out together. Then Daniel Jeremiah goes on the Rich Eisen show and says he saw Joey Bosa and Jim Harbaugh talking after hours for 30 minutes, like a deep, intimate conversation. That's the difference between Jim Harbaugh and these other coaches. I really believe, and maybe I'm just a Charger fan that looks at everything as a positive, but I believe with Jim Harbaugh, what he's doing with this team, like, there's no ceiling. Like, this team can really achieve anything that they want because they have the players finally that match the coach. Like, we've always had a great quarterback. We've never had the coach. This coach believes in his players, and the players believe in him too.
I think it's a coach that it starts from the top, and at the top you have a strong leader, strong communicator, and a strong mind. And it trickles down to every player in the organization, and we see that now. And I think with the Chargers too, that helps them right now and why they are, I think, put at the top of, your top 5 rankings and stuff right now, is one, because of Harbaugh, and two, you mentioned this and I want to expand on it. There's injuries that are happening to every team, and knock on wood right now, Chargers are good on that end. JK's fine, Gus is fine, Lad's fine, QJ's fine, Palmer's was dinged up, but he's fine, Max fine, Bose is fine, Derwin's fine, Perriman's fine. Gilman's hurt, but he's probably going to come back. Like, our core great players that we need for every single game, they're fine right now. Then you start to look slowly like around the league, right? Chiefs just lost a lot. They picked up I just wrote his freaking
Kareem
name
Hunt.
down for Kareem Hunt. Thank you. I literally just wrote his name down for my other rundown for a show. Gosh darn it. They had to go pick him up. Browns then suffered injuries. The Ravens had their whole defensive staff get wiped. Then now they're starting to see injuries, and now they have no idea what's going on in their tight end room. Like, every team kind of feels like they all have like their issues and their kind of question marks. And right now, while teams are trying to find the answers to their questions, the Chargers are like forming their identity. And I think that's the kind of difference between us and other teams right now.
Oh, hold on. Two things. One is you just scared the hell out of the entire audience when you started going through our list of healthy guys.
Yeah, that was
not
a really bad idea.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Not like sports fans aren't superstitious. Holy cow. If something goes wrong, everyone's going to be losing their mind on you. You might as well be Nick Sirianni. People are going to freak out.
It's going to be a crazy day in the comment section if that happens.
So, two, hold on. Did you just say, because I missed it, Kareem Hunt was signed by the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What happened? Because I thought Kareem Hunt was one of those guys that couldn't represent the Chiefs organization. Are the Ravens signing Ray Rice? Did I miss that one too? Because I thought you guys drew the line in the sand on who can wear the uniform. And the Chiefs have a crazy line, right? The Tyreek Hill line's kind of crazy. It's okay to punch pregnant women in the stomach and break their kids' arms. But Tyreek Hill was playing. And then at the same time, you got Rashee Rice over there who's breaking the law every 3 seconds, yet we'll put him in a uniform. Now you bring Kareem Hunt back. Is Trevor Bauer getting signed this week? What the hell's going on in Kansas City?
They want to win.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, they draw a line until they need somebody. It's
exactly right.
Yeah.
That line straight to the parade. That's all that matters. Don't sit there. Guys who draw the line and cross their own line drive me crazy. No one asked you to draw a line. You drew your own line and then you cross it.
I do. I've always said this. If you are a jerk or not a good guy, don't act like you're a good guy. Just be a bad guy all the time.
Yeah, be what you are.
Yeah, be what you are. I respect a bad person that's a bad person 24/7. Because now I know who you are. Exactly. Be consistent. We're 3 not good guys.
What did you say? What?
Nothing. Moving on.
All right, we'll move on right
podcast.
There. All right. So again, going through the games, got to ask you this one here because again, as I sit there and I rip on the Chiefs, Bengals. I know all of us were excited thinking the Bengals are going to win this one. All of a sudden, there's a controversial play. They call pass interference. I'll be fair in my mind. I thought it was pass interference. I thought it was the right call. It always seemed like the Chiefs get calls, but at that point, I think the Chiefs honestly fell into one where the Bengals actually did have a pass interference at the end. Did you guys see that one the same way?
Yeah, I thought it was definitely the right call. I mean, Bengals fans actually are the biggest complainers out of any fan base in the NFL. Strangely, like they live on Twitter and they love to screenshot everything. But it was the right call. There is a lot of calls that go the Chiefs' way, but I don't think that was one of them.
I'm with you, but can we keep it consistent with every team? Because last night I was watching Monday Night Football, and Ray McLeod was getting tackled when Kirk Cousins threw him the ball in the end zone, and that was just a clean play. So, fellas, let's just keep it a little bit consistent. And, I know it was a PI, but, I'll just say, Dave, maybe you can make an argument you keep the flag in. Maybe. Not saying you should. I'm saying it's a maybe.
All right, let's remind people how the former Chargers did over the weekend, okay? In case you're wondering, in case you missed Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen didn't play for the Bears against in their loss to the Texans. There you go. Mike Williams, he did have a catch. He had one reception for 19 yards. He was targeted one time now in 2 games for the Jets. Austin Eckler right now seems to be the Charger having the best time. 8 carries, 38 yards, 3 receptions, 47 yards for the Commanders. At the same time, when you look at the rookies and the guys who were drafted ahead of even Joe Alt. Looks like the Commanders found their quarterback. They found their guy. Drake May still sitting on the bench. Caleb Williams has failed to score a touchdown at the same time. If you're looking at a football game from the inside out, not making excuses for Caleb Williams because, man, people love to attack him. That offensive line for the Bears isn't very good. It is definitely hurting him. He might have receivers to throw to. He does not have time to show what he can possibly do. Not worried he's going to fall in the category of a Bryce Young where he's going to be broken before he gets a chance to do his thing. But it is always dangerous when you have a rookie quarterback like there with no protection at all.
Yeah, no, Caleb Williams has no time to throw. People can't get upset with Caleb Williams. Nobody could succeed with that offensive line. Did you see that Austin Eckler's returning kicks for the Commanders? Is that the fastest guy you guys have or the most reliable person you have to return kicks? I thought that was shocking. The Bears trying to make DeAndre Carter Andre Johnson was shocking. Like, do you guys understand that he's a specialist? That makes no sense. And Kenneth Murray, holy hell, if you have not seen his performance against the Jets, look it up. He had one good game against the Titans, and they said, that's it. We don't need to watch his tape. We're going to sign him. He's everything that we need in Tennessee. He's literally the worst linebacker in the NFL playing for the Titans. I have no idea how he got that contract. I'm not rooting for these guys not to succeed, but I also don't care if they don't. Like Brandon Staley, I don't know how much of an effect he has with the 49ers, but it's weird that team kind of sucks on defense the second he ends up in San Francisco.
Dude, you ever think, all right, certain guys are just bad luck? Like Brandon Staley's a bad luck guy.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he was with the Rams. They lost the Super Bowl. He leaves the Rams. They win the Super Bowl. Right? He leaves the Chargers 2-0, 49ers, injuries all over the place. I mean, he's just bad luck Brandon. Right?
He kind of deserves it too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're going out on a Friday night, Mario, since you're single, okay? You're going out on Friday night. You want Brandon Staley to be your wingman? What do you think?
Okay. No, I thought you were going to say Staley or Harbaugh, and I was going to say, with all due respect to Harbaugh, I think he'd be just as tough as a draw. I think that would be a tough go to get some talent out there. Josh, I'm happy you brought up, by the way, DeAndre Carter. There's one point watching that game Sunday night. I was like, did he just become receiver one for the Bears?
It looks like
it. Yeah, they were like every play. I'm like, why is Caleb constantly looking for DeAndre Carter? The guy stinks.
Okay, how about this? Dude, if we're talking about Brandon Staley, sorry, it just popped in my head. Dude, Henley had 11 tackles, led the team, but couldn't get on the field last year. Make that make sense.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Oh,
you can't figure out anybody? Yeah, Bosa looks like Joey Bosa. Like, Derwin James looks great. Like, what was Brandon Staley doing? Like, he's this defensive guru. Where? It's insane.
We need to do a Madden game where it's Mark Trustman versus Brandon Staley.
Oh my God.
That would be two awful coaches.
Yeah, man. All I know is I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad he's not there. All right, let's review our picks from last week. Week 2, week's over, I should say. Week 2 picks. Who did the best on the show? Do you guys have any idea?
No, I have no idea. I'm guessing you.
No, it's not me. I did the worst. Josh and Mario, they both finished 9-7 this past week in their picks. 9-7 with the spread. I was last. I was 6-10. It was a bad week for me. Here we go. So for the season, this is the way it looks. I have a losing record. I'm 14-18 on the year. Right now, I'm the guy eating all the food. Josh and Mario are tied right now, 16-16 overall. All right, so just 500 ball. By the way, I think if you're gambling in the first 2 weeks of an NFL season, you're out of your mind. I mean, look at the records. Okay. I'm just going to use the Saints and Vikings as my examples. Like, who saw that coming? But at the same time, go ahead, Mario. Are you cleaning up this fall so far?
Lions won me a lot of money, and then I swept the UFC card, which really, really helped me.
It's a football show.
I don't know, but I'm saying it's like that helped the winnings keep going. So I did clean on the Lions. Chiefs just absolutely bent me over and showed me the 50 states. What's the other one that screwed me? Oh, Packers actually helped me a lot too. I had the Pack. I couldn't watch that game. I couldn't watch it.
That's too good. But by the way, Malik Willis going back to face the Titans in Tennessee. Look at that.
That's
This
crazy.
weekend.
How's
Yeah,
that
that-
your news?
Yeah,
That is
I
great.
never
All right.
bet. Hold on, I never gamble. I told you guys I was going to bet on the Chargers to cover. I did, thankfully.
Good.
Dude, who drew the line 5.5 for Chargers Panthers? Like that's crazy. Who
Dude,
did
it
not bet
started
the
out
house
at
on that?
3.5. It started out at 3.5. It went up to
Come on,
5.5.
Vegas.
If you want to hear something crazy too, Dalton, when he was announced as starting quarterback, that line went from 7.5 down to 5.5. A 2-point swing for a backup QB right now that should be in a retirement home is crazy versus Bryce
Dude,
Young.
he has not been good in 7 years. Andy Dalton has not done anything in 7 years.
No.
All
That's
right,
just crazy.
so-
I just couldn't believe it. I thought it was
all right.
high.
So would you throw your money on the Raiders? Raiders a home opener.
Hell no. I'm not even touching that game.
Really? I would.
Yeah, I'm not touching that game. You
I
would
would.
touch that game?
I'd bet Raiders big time. Raiders coming off that
Okay.
emotional win, home opener. It's going to be crazy in Las Vegas. I would bet the Raiders big time. Andy Dalton stinks.
I think it could be a weird close game. A weird close game.
Really?
Yeah,
Is it more
you got-
weird than Antonio Pierce's hug on Tom Telesco when he snapped his ribs in half? Was it more
Yeah,
weird?
that
than
was also weird. But
That,
yeah, bro,
that was a little crazy, man. I thought Telesco number 1 was going to snap a rib, and then I thought he was going to fall backwards. Like it was really like Telesco's not a big dude at all. Like Telesco
No.
might be 5'8", 5'9", 140 pounds. I was like, this isn't going to end well at all. Yeah. Holy cow. Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
what I can't remember what I was gonna say, but this comment just threw me for a loop. Shout out Young West. Mario is the kid that has his science book out in math class. LOL. That's a good one. I like that. See, that's what I'm talking about. If you're gonna make fun, be funny, and that's a funny one.
All right, real quick before we get into the comments. Panthers, good move, Matt, bad move. Did they break Bryce Young? Did they give up on Bryce Young?
I thought they should have kept playing him because even with Andy Dalton, they're still going to be terrible. So why not play the guy that you already drafted, number 1?
I'm with you. What's a competitive advantage of starting Dalton? You're not gonna make the playoffs still. You're not gonna do anything. You might as well just keep sucking and just get the first pick.
And then not only that, you know that he is or isn't your guy. Now you still have questions. What are you going to get for him? You can't show anyone in the NFL what he does. So, I mean, if you trade him at the trade deadline or you trade him during the offseason, you're going to be lucky to get 5, 6, 7 pick. Somebody will make a trade for him. I'm telling you right now, the Titans would take him over Will Levis. At least Bryce Young is a guy that played in the South, has an SEC following, and has some sort of IQ. Will Levis went to Kentucky and looks like he's drinking bourbon during the games and his decisions he's making. There's no way the Titans aren't making a move for Bryce Young for a 7th round pick.
Yeah, Callahan wants to strangle Levis. Like he's so tired of him. It's hilarious.
And I think Canales, it's all ego right now. The only reason you go to Dalton is that it's driving you crazy to start your coaching career 0-2. That's ego. I heard, I think it was Breer who made a comment saying, well, he has to prove to the rest of the guys in the locker room that the team comes first. I got news for you. That's not your team. The future of the Carolina Panthers, they aren't wearing Panther uniforms right now. That's not the future of your team. Those Panther guys, when you have success down the road one day, not one of those guys will be in a uniform. They won't be wearing that uniform.
If you're the Rams, do you throw a 7th pick for Young?
You know what? It's not a bad call. Not a bad call. I think how much younger is Young than Stetson Bennett? Who's the backup?
Probably like 8 years.
Yeah, like 8
It was
years.
old as hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see
Seriously,
the matchup between Utah and Oklahoma State? The quarterbacks this weekend are combined age of 49. Anthony Richardson and who do the Colts play?
Bears.
Titans.
No,
sorry, Bears. They play
Bears.
the Bears.
Yeah, Caleb Williams, Anthony Richardson, combined age of 44, 5 years younger than Oklahoma State and Utah, 7th-year senior quarterbacks. All right, we have some comments we got to get to. This one comes from Young West, $5. We appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
It says, if we beat Pittsburgh at home, I believe this team is a contender. Defense just looks revamped, crazy. What good coaching can do for a football team. I
I'm
mean,
100%.
I don't. Who's more
100%.
impressive, Jesse Minter or Jim Harbaugh? Like Jesse Minter's taking over for an awful defense as well. Like we give Jim Harbaugh all the credit. He probably gets more credit, or he deserves more credit. But Jesse Minter also took over a horrible defense.
And
Yeah,
he's not.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry. No. Credit to Jim Harbaugh for bringing him. I mean, for hiring him twice, right? I mean, seriously, for recognizing what he does. Man, it's a great combination. But to his point, real quick, Mario, dude, the Chargers win this thing against the Steelers. You're getting league-wide respect. That this is not a joke. You went to Pittsburgh and you knocked off the Steelers. The Steelers are the Steelers. They're 2-0. Playing in Pittsburgh is one of the toughest places to play. It's a big win, man. And I don't care if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, you're going, man, maybe the Chargers' time is right now, you know? And if you're Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh is going to say some crazy crap to you when he shakes your hand at the end, because that's what he does. He's going to smack him right on his big back, and he's going to sprint into the locker room after he does it. It's going to be fantastic.
Just building on top of that, too, I think they beat the Steelers. That's going to send shockwaves throughout, and this Chiefs-Chargers game is going to become the game that's talked about throughout next week. And I think that's going to be like the coming out party, I guess, if you will, of the Chargers are on the scene. Now, if the Chargers beat the Chiefs too, then holy hell, expect some crazy overreaction and some crazy takes coming about the Bolts. Warranted or unwarranted, it's going to happen.
You're right. Austin Chase, $5. It says Chargers win this 24-10. Book it. Bolt up. We'll get into score predictions on the next show, but I like that. 2-touchdown win. That'd be extremely impressive, winning by 14 points in Pittsburgh.
One thing I'd like to change as far as just kind of training the audience a little bit, which I never tell you guys how to fan, but when we're going to talk about this team from here on out, when they beat the Steelers, when they beat the Chiefs. Man, no more ifs. I don't want any more ifs on this show. It's the one show rule we're going to have. When you talk about the team in the comment, it's going to be win, okay? We always talk in the positive.
You pulled that on your high school team, I bet, too.
I do it all the time.
Yep, I like that.
I do it all the time. Hey, when this guy gets a hit right now, you're going to run for him. And the kid looks at me like, the kid's not going to get a hit. Like, I know, but come on.
Yeah. It always reminds me, freshman year of high school, close game, get an and one, and the team calls timeout, and we have like a 1-point lead. And my coach kept going, when Heron hits this free throw, blah, blah, in my head, I'm thinking, I'm totally going to miss this. And I freaking bricked it. Got the rebound, though, but boy, did I brick the crap out of it. Like, I literally got the ball, and I was doing my routine, and I exploded. I was going, this is not going in. I was like, all right.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
always
like
be positive. Okay.
All right, next one comes from Eric Valencia, $5. It says top live show, always keeping it real. Bolt up from Arizona. Appreciate that, man. We always like to be
awesome,
honest.
Eric. Appreciate that.
Let's go.
I
Love
appreciate
Arizona.
that.
And I love you, Eric.
Have you been to Arizona, Mar?
Nope.
Just so you know, they had 100 straight days of more than 100 degrees this year.
Really?
It is pretty damn hot. You know it's hot when there's no good time to go take your dog out for a walk. It is hot.
I have a fraternity brother that lives out there that I still talk to. That I tell every year that I'll go visit and never do. Shout out Thomas Dye.
Dude, go if you go out, go October through April. You'll be fine. After that, you might as well visit the sun. It is hot as hell. I'm there all the time, dude. It's hot as hell.
He is always there. Is there any comments, Mario, that you'd like to get to?
Let's see here. There was one I highlighted earlier that thought. I thought this was a really good question, actually. From Armando. Who do you think needs to win this game? Chargers defense or the Chargers offense? Consider that both defenses are good. I thought it's a really good question. Dave, go ahead and start.
Oh man, I'd be happy either way. I'll be honest with you, I think the Chargers win this game through their defense. If it's their offense, that's just the cherry on top. But I think they're going to win this game through their defense. And the matchup of the day, I mean, we talked about it right at the beginning of the show. The matchup of the day is Alt against TJ Watt, which sounded ridiculous a month ago to think that Alt would even have a chance, because nobody has a chance against TJ Watt. But again, after what he did against Max Crosby, I think he's going to be one of the big topic of conversations on the national shows on Monday and Tuesday about how TJ Watt, like if Alt can play up to what he's been doing, all of a sudden he's an all-pro, man. He's going to be an all-pro player as a rookie. Absolutely insane.
Wow. People are saying TJ Watt, who, because of Joe Alt, to put him in the Hall of Fame. Best defensive player in the NFL. All right, there's a couple questions here, Mario. This one from Alpha Man 27. Oh, sorry, to answer your question, I think the Chargers offense needs to step up. It's their turn. Defense has done the first 2 games. Now it's the offense's turn. That's my opinion. Here's this one by Alpha Man 27. Excuse me, Alpha Man 27. It says, "Is the loser eating hot dogs?" I thought we agreed to 15 Taco Bell soft tacos.
Oh, I thought we did a combination. I thought it was.
Are
I
we?
thought it was combo. Yeah, I thought it was
Okay,
combo,
my bad.
right?
Hand up.
Okay, so in my head, I'm going. If I lose today, if I say to you guys, this is my combination, I'm going tacos, hot dogs, and hard boiled eggs. Each one counts as one. What do you think? Is that fair?
You have to get to 15 or 20.
I have to get to 15.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's fair.
Is it fair? Does a hard boiled
Yeah,
egg count as the same as a taco? Do you guys?
I've never had a hard-boiled egg before.
Wow, that's crazy.
really?
Really?
I've never had one before.
Like in a Cobb salad?
No. I've never eaten it.
Have you seen
Okay,
one?
then we should do it then. It's like an experience.
Have you
He's never
seen
had
one?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen
But
it.
I'm
My
shocked.
well, because my grandma, who's a nut job, she'd make it with some weird sauce on it, and I just never trusted anything she cooks because it's all just like shaped off mold. So I just never ate it because I was like, all right. Ever since I was a little kid, I was like, whatever grandma brings, don't eat. And she always brought over those. So I was like, all right, I'm just not gonna eat it.
She's brought over. Are you sure she wasn't bringing over deviled eggs, like hard boiled eggs cut in half with like the stuff on top?
She was definitely doing that. That's exactly what she brought.
All right, the reason, dude, what you just said like blew my mind. Like I've never heard of anyone not eating a hard boiled egg. All right, especially
Yeah.
you. You're a workout guy. Usually, guys who work out all the time are eating hard boiled eggs like crazy.
Yeah, never have.
We definally have to do it then. You have to eat it on the
Yeah.
show because we have to get all 15 in 50 minutes,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
During the
but right
show?
now I'm the
Yeah.
guy that beaten. But yeah, you got to have 50 minutes to
That's
get them all
great.
in.
This is great.
Absolutely. All right, let me try and get this one on here. This is from Angie. She says, "I miss Mike and Keenan less each week. Harbaugh knows what he's doing." I couldn't agree more. I miss Keenan and Mike Williams less every week.
I agree with that. Yep. Same here. We got a paid chat from Tim, $10.
Thanks,
Thank you, Tim. It said, "I would love to see you guys do a live stream during the game."
Okay, so
We've had a few people ask for this. Are you
Okay.
talking during the game or during halftime? That would be my question.
Should we talk this out right now?
We can talk
Okay.
it out right now.
Okay.
we could talk it out. Now here's I'll tell you the logistics of it. All right, so we don't get sued. You can talk during the game, but you can't do play-by-play. Okay,
Yeah.
do you guys understand? Meaning, Herbert throws the ball to the side to J.K. Dobbins. We can't do any play-by-play. We'll get sued for that one. But we can do kind of like a Manning cast deal where we sit there and we talk about the game during the time. We're gonna cuss right now. I mean, I recommend
we cuss. We're gonna so much.
So we're good.
I scream during the game. You guys,
I have a panic attack. We can, as long as we don't cuss in the first 10 minutes and it's not like every other word, we will be fine on YouTube.
Okay.
How about this? I'll put a stipulation.
Okay.
If we get not live comments, but on the YouTube comments, we're going to post the show. If we get 20 people that comment they want it live during the game, we'll do at least one live game this year. Do you guys agree to that?
Yes. And I think it should be AFC West team.
You want to try it against the Chiefs? You want to try it the following week against the Chiefs?
But we need those comments. We need the 20 comments.
We need those
on
comments. Not when.
YouTube.
Not if we get the comments. When we get the comments.
When we get the comments.
Exactly.
Yes.
Nice.
It has to be on YouTube. So not on this one, but on YouTube.
Yes.
All right. Tim, that was great, man.
Good there you go, point. Tim. Look, you're the producer of the show. Good job.
There we go. We missed any other ones that you want to get to?
I don't know. I think I'm good.
You guys could be the only Charger podcast on OnlyFans.
Who says we're not?
That's true. That could be. I bet OnlyFans would kind of like that because don't they want to bridge away from like adult film stuff?
They want to become like cooking and stuff, which is never going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's never going to happen.
Is that true? Is that what they're trying to do?
Okay. Yeah, I think so. They're trying to rebrand.
Yeah, they tried. Yeah.
It's too late, man. It's
I
too
mean,
late
yeah. you play the hits, you know?
Yeah.
Come on.
All right.
Yeah.
20
good luck.
comments.
Yeah. Tell
All
your
right, I kinda
boss
like
that you have
this.
an OnlyFans account, but it's really a cooking show. They're going to
Yeah,
fire you. You're not
sure.
going to buy
Yeah,
that.
no. There's a comedian that's like a comedy special thing, and it was on OnlyFans. And I was like, oh, okay. Imagine the guy that there's some poor bastard out there that saw that she has an OnlyFans, got really excited, bought it, and then it just goes, what's going on? It's just,
Yeah. This
just
sucks.
comedy. Yeah. Oh,
There we go. All right. We didn't miss any. I love how the people start yelling at each other while we're sitting there going while we're doing the conversation. People give their opinions. I saw anyway. Some of them crack me up. All right, we're all good. We're all good. We'll get to them. Look, if you have any comments, say that again.
I had an idea today that I wrote down that I didn't know if I want to throw it out on air or if we can do it post show.
Right now, it looks like we're doing everything on air. There's no post show meetings.
Okay, so hear me out. Could be funny. I don't know if we'll be able to do it on YouTube, but hear me out. Sunday morning on the can. It's all of us streaming. We're all in the toilet, and we go through our biggest props of the day that we like for the Chargers. It's for 15 minutes.
Dave would never do it.
You never do it?
Not. Dude, I won't talk to anybody in a bathroom at any point. I don't care if you're at the urinal or if you're in the stall. I won't talk to anyone in the bathroom.
Would be funny.
It might be funny, dude, but there's no way.
Right.
I don't talk to people in the bathroom. Imagine doing it online is 100% out of my norm.
Okay. Yeah, on the toilet for real. Yeah, age. I would be taking a dump, farts are coming out, and it would just hear the props or the players that are gonna have the biggest games for the Chargers.
How about you do it?
Yeah, it would be great.
Do it? I'll do it. We'll do a test run. We'll do a test run.
Okay. Just so you know, you'll never be able to run for office. All right. This will be the end of your political aspirations.
I think that was really far gone in my career. Very early on.
This is gonna be one of those, Mario, when you're my age going, man, I can't believe I did that. That might have been a bad move.
Yeah,
when your kids are looking up your old YouTube stuff and you're like, Dad, what the hell?
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Remember, it's going to be there forever. You know, your family might show it in front of your Aunt Lauren who can't make lasagna. I'm sorry, did I get her name right?
Yeah, no, that's her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she ain't watching this.
Until your mom shows it. She's proud. All right. We'll get out of here. Look, Thursday we're back. Thursday and Sunday. I always say are my favorite shows, but I do love these Tuesday shows. Thursday because we're always excited about making our picks and get the excitement factor. The game time's almost here, and then Sunday after a win. Nothing's better after a win. By the way, I went and bought a bunch of cigars this week, so I'm all set. I'm all ready for the rest of the season. Nice. When we win, we'll be smoking those cigars. So again, for Mario Heron, Josh Blay, I'm Dave Palais. Please leave comments on YouTube if you weren't able to join the show live. We will answer every single one of those. Otherwise, we're going to see you Thursday again at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Please like the show, subscribe before you leave. Thanks, guys.